came from the Nile Valley. It's bittersweet, I smile sadly. Truth rarely seen like child's daddies. Amenhotep, I style flashy. Regarded highly, I'm Selassie. As time is passing, tribes are clashing. I know the ledge, I grow my dreads. My queen's two open legs have golden eggs, I'm hatched. 9 months had to hold my breath. Now I dream so heavy that I broke the bed. Provoke the feds that slaughter the sons. 12 get the 4-5 like a quarter to 1. The war has begun. Latin for sun, the soul and melanites get more of the sun. We the fortunate ones. Got the God in the womb and the Lord in my come, and no more means love. Death is the source that I'm from. Everything that they do, we have already done. Self-taught, my ice a melt salt. Mine high price, I write and sell thought. I felt cloth, Akhenaten, cotton shopping, aquaponic, chronic options. Badanaz and pot concoction. Earth a thought, her twat is rotten. Knowledge of my art forgotten. Watch the conscious sovereign doctrine. Not dishonest prophet goblins. Boxing out the box, I'm boxed in. Black magic, black yoni, black phallus. How they turn kings and queens to crack addicts. How they make us lose our sight like bad glasses. They know we invented original mathematics. Black magic, treat home like at Sabbath. I can hear beautiful music and bad static. I attract cash and bags like that's Magnus. Last Maverick, blast fast like Zab Jab. Black magic, black yoni.
Peace, family. Welcome to another episode, Underground Railroad Productions. This your host, Brother Rich. Man, I got a great show for y'all today. We getting y'all ready for November 19th. I got Brother Panics on the line. Brother Panic, welcome back to the show, brother.
Hey, Rich, Brother Rich. Nice to be back, brother. Nice to be back. What's going on with you?
Man, I'm chilling, man. I'm looking forward to November 19th, man. You haven't spoken New York in over a decade, bro. The name of the lecture is The Multi-Dimensional Nature of the Soul, Understanding the Technology of Being God in a Human Body. Brother Panic, man, I've gotten a great response, man. What's going on with you, man?
Just chilling, man, and I am also looking forward to the show. You know what I mean? When you were the one who actually pointed out that I actually haven't been speaking or spoke in New York in over 10 years, and you made it monumental now. I wasn't even, it didn't even cross my mind. I was just thinking about a trip home, perhaps, but then now you making it monumental, so I have to come with something that's so heavy. People will have to limp out, crawl out, and that's what I plan on doing. The 19th. Y'all need to be in New York and make it do what y'all usually make it do, because I am going to not let you down. I plan on coming down there, and perhaps I might even pull my pants down. It's going to be serious business out there, Brother Rich.
Oh, man. Well, just to start out with, Brother Panic, we're gonna have a short show tonight, family. We really want y'all to come out. The brother got some top-of-the-line information, so we just want to talk to y'all and let y'all know real quick tonight what's going on. But to start out with, when we talk about the technology of being God in a human body, or this technology that the oneness or the hidden one or the many named the source or the universe, or not the universe, but the source that created the universe, the technology of the universe. Usually when I think about it from a human perspective, Panic, and we invent technology to help us with shit. So if we try, if we might have a cotton machine, we may have a comb to comb our hair. We have technology to assist us. What assistance is this universe to God? This all that is. Why would he or she create this universal matrix, this virtual reality, this Maya, the many names that it has been given over the centuries? How does this technology, you being Brother Panic on planet Earth, talking to Brother Rich, how does this technology assist the one that is, that already has everything, Brother Panic?
Got you. Well, first let's define the one that has everything. If we refer to it as a he or she or the creator and all of these things are, in my study, I find all of those concepts to be folly. We can just hit it on the head. the mind is all, the universe is mental. What the universe is, if it's mental, then the universe is your mind. To control the universe, you have to control your mind. So your mind is that thing that pushed this forth for just one idea and one idea alone, to expand on its knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. So this Maya, this unreal reality, this whatever thing we want to call it, while you and I are together, which is a conscious choice, but conscious from another perspective than this reality. Why this one is with that one happened with this one, and things happen the way they happen, with some may say fate and things like that, are actually equations that are being worked out or acted out based upon a script that was already written for the sake of examining one's own mind, which is our own mind. You get what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So if I had to put it in a skinny nutshell, it is us that chose to come down here and create a stage for ourselves, because all of these interactions, when it's all said and done, because it's not happening as a true reality, but an illusion, that we still take the experience away from for the sake of learning. So all of this is how you expand. If you have everything, as you pointed out, the only way to gain something new is to put yourself under the illusion of ignorance. Mm-hmm. So we roll through this illusion under the illusion of ignorance, only to act these things out for the sake of expanding our own minds.
Indeed. When would you say, Brother Panic, a lot of the information we get passed down to us, some people think that even though it came from Kemet, or even though it came from these fancy names that we give our ancestors, they were still on the decline. So the information is tainted. So we can't take, we got to take everything that we're getting historically or, metaphysically with a grain of salt. At what time would you say humanity started to fall? Because they say even during the dynastic period, we was in our fallen state. So when would you say, when did this start to happen where you say our true and living knowledge of who we are started to deteriorate?
Well, if you study the Gnostic text, what you'll find out is there was not one moment on planet Earth humans were at a pristine state compared to what you truly are. So we're only comparing what's pristine to our wretched state now, or you follow what I'm saying?
Right. No,
so we're in a place where we have to make these comparisons. But if you truly read the ancient text, even the Kemetic text, if everything was on and popping, if it is cracking on this motherfucker, based upon what I first said, there's actually no reason to come down here. You would have to be in a state of disrepair or under the illusion of disrepair to get anything done. You wouldn't come from, let's say, perfection to mimic perfection. It would be a worthless lateral move.
Right,
you come from perfection into the illusion of disrepair to walk the path back towards perfection. And then that's where you get, it's not the destination, it's the path, because that's what this is all about. This is all about walking the path. This is all about that aha moment, because the destination is already perfection for us. We are already from Zamunda. We are already the prince destined to be the king. You come to America to find a new element, which in this case, within our coming to America example, which I love to use the most, would be Lisa, to bring that back to the kingdom, because you've already had that perfected love of whatever you like. So it's a way to keep becoming new. So even the Egyptians, if they were the bomb and they were the truth, why was everything they were doing of talking about dying and not coming back here? if everything was gravy down here. So this alone tells you, just with your common sense, that they were even, their statement of their very existence, of every hieroglyph you see, the statement is to get the fuck out of here, that which means something must be fundamentally wrong about being down here. Later day Egyptians, the Coptic Egyptians, which are called Gnostics, their philosophy was, look, we don't have no time to take you through initiations, temples, and years of this. We're going to give it to you in a nutshell. And then they do. And when you study the Gnostic thing, their whole philosophy is about the flaw of humanity and a false creator, which is really code for your ego, that's created this reality, that this is a prison. This is your body is nothing more than a jail cell or a prison for life. This is a debauchery. This is vomit. This is a flaw. This is bastardized. This is a marketing. I mean, they go on and on and on about this thing never, ever once being pristine. So without taking that so dramatic, what they're really just saying, well, not what they're really just saying, but the overall works of what is really saying, because you look at any mythology, there's always this hero concept that has this task ahead of them. If things were perfected, the hero wouldn't have anything to do, and no mythology would be valid, because I don't think I've ever heard of mythology without a hero that has a chore or a task, something to defeat, and it's always this demon which represents this human ignorance. So they tell you in many different ways that this thing was always a flaw. So, and it's only gotten worse and worse since its inception. And then, so I guess to put it all under one umbrella, to make it quick, we always was falling off, and it was always a flaw. If you look at it from the perspective of trying to be a great human, if you look at it, and this is what we're going to talk about in the lecture, so you're going to have to come down November 19th. If you look at it from the perspective of what you truly are, and you're trying to realize that, which is consciousness, or what consciousness should be, I should say, then it becomes a whole different animal as to what it is you're doing here. But if you're trying to be the best human you could possibly be, and you bought into the idea that humanity is somehow evolving because you get better at computers and smartphones, then you have a real problem. Then you have a real problem. You're not even in the game, if you will. So it all depends on, I guess, in a nutshell, how you see your existence. Are you God in a body, or are you a body trying to find God? You get what I'm saying? And those two differences are what we're going to really expand on the 19th. So y'all need to come to Brooklyn for this one.
Indeed, man. Well, it sounds powerful, brother. Me and you've been talking a lot about, on the phone lately about string theory and holographic nature of the universe. And I seen some of your last show when you was dealing with the particles and the waves and all that, man. Can you touch on that for my audience real quick? Some of what you was touching on the last video you got on your Occult Lectures channel, YouTube channel.
Sure, indeed. Well, one of the biggest things, even back in whatever it was, 2004, 2005, with that What the Bleep Do You Know video. They showed this demonstration even back then. They always do it when they are trying to explain quantum computing, or the quantum world. And I guess it's worth going through real quick now. They set up this experiment where they have a wall and a wall in between. They put a hole in it, shot some marbles through it, and as you expect, the marble pattern went according to the hole. They did it with two holes, same thing, two holes, two marble patterns on the back wall. So they said, let's try it with water. They did it with water with one hole. And the concentration, of course, on the back wall was through the one hole. When they did the water with two holes, there was a little bit of a difference. the water going through the two holes made what they call an interfering pattern, which means kind of like the waves just interfered with each other. And the pattern on the back wall was just a few lines, more than one line. This interfering pattern creates more than one line with waves. Fine, makes sense, no big whoop. So what they said, what we're going to do next, well, first of all, let's establish that there's a pattern with particles and a pattern with waves. This interfering wave pattern makes one thing on the back wall, particles makes another. So they said, let's do it with more particles, with smaller particles. Let's do it with electrons. So they shot it through the one hole with electrons, and it made a particle pattern. Whatever the hole was, that's what was on the back wall. They did it with two holes, expecting the same particle pattern on the back wall as the marbles made, which are particle or matter. And the electron particles made a wave pattern. Now that's shocking. Why would these particles make a wave pattern? So they said, well, I guess they're interfering with each other as they shoot through the holes. So they said, here's what we'll do. We will shoot them through one at a time. They can't interfere if they're going through one at a time. So they shot these electron particles through one at a time, and they still made an interfering wave pattern. They couldn't get it. Set up cameras, slowed it down, and funny thing is, when they set up the cameras, it made particle patterns again, meaning it changed from waves, which they were baffled about, back to particle patterns through the two holes. Long story short, as they tried everything under the sun, what they realized was when they turned the camera on, the wave patterns would turn back into particle patterns. So just by observing it, it changes back to matter. So now if we fast forward, they're still at the theory level, but it's absolutely obvious. What they said was the quantum world is wave patterns. The material world are particles. And our observation of this is what factors particles, waves to particles. So they was pretty much saying there's no way we could really observe the quantum world because each time we look at it in any form changes the particles.
Right.
So, and I guess I'll go into it deeper at the lecture, but let's get to where they at. So our regular everyday computers uses zeros and ones. It uses a processor, which is pretty much a faster brain. It thinks like your conscious mind does. Masculine mind, addition, subtraction, calculation, so on and so forth. Now, they have come up with something called a D-Wave computer. What I also found out was IBM did one using a certain technology, but now they have a faster technology all the way to 2,000 bits. It was 128, 255, then it's up to 2,000Q is the latest one. And you have the guy who's running that program saying in a seminar, which is easy to find with the D-Wave computers, the guy who's running that program telling you exactly what they're doing, clearly. Now, what he said was, and we're going to go into the detail on this on the 19th, but this is enough to get your asses there. What he says are we are actively manipulating parallel universes. Actively manipulating parallel universes. This absolutely makes sense because here's our science, and I've been teaching this for a while. Your conscious mind, as I just said, works like a computer. Your subconscious mind, which all reality is dictated from, it is how you do magic. no other way. Every candle, every altar, every crystal, every fairy, every spirit you summon happens through your subconscious mind. And there's techniques to do it. I told you, repetition, trauma, or symbols are how the subconscious mind is changed or impacted. And based upon one of those three ways is how you can change your reality or have your reality change for you. And that's where the trauma comes in. But not just as a bad thing. We use trauma in Africa. We use trauma in rites of passage to reprogram the boy into psychologically understanding himself to be a man. So that was a form of programming. Just like you program your computers, all of this shit is programming. Mantras are programming. Symbols are programming. And that's how we program our quantum computer. Now, our subconscious mind sends it out in the form of waves. Just like the conscious mind sends it out in form, you could say, of zeros and ones of particles, because that's how we recognize consciously this material environment with these two eyes. With this invisible third eye, it is open but closed. It's open in both worlds, but kind of closed in the other one because you can't observe for the magic to work. Now, it started to make sense. Every magical or most magical things you do, you're actually told to hit it and forget it. Make a sigil, burn it, flush it, wash it away, take your candle match, throw it behind you on the road, throw it in the forest. All of these different techniques on not observing. Remember, when you observe, it turns to particles and it stays in this world. When you don't observe, it's actually able to go out on waves. Now, these interfering waves that your mind creates interferes with every other mind of like mind in existence. That's how you've heard us say before, Rich, me and you have the same mind. We're one. Because these interfering waves is the quantum connection, and they also call it, and they found out atoms deal with this property with, what do they call it? I'll describe it. There's a name for it. Each atom has a partner. That one atom that you may be observing, partner may be in the cosmos billions of miles away. It will act and react the same no matter how far it is. And I can't remember this connection, meaning if you can connect to those, you can connect to the cosmos anywhere in existence. So when we say things in our science like, oh, you can open up a portal or you can visualize and pull down a reality, is because you're connected through waves, which is subconscious mind. If you observe it, you fuck it up. So that's why all them niggas talking about magic as much ain't doing shit, and all the niggas who are logically trying to break it down can't get into it because they are actually observing it and making it particles. Those who have the mentality, like I've been telling you, just gotta know. Because when I say you just gotta know, is another way of saying I'm not looking at it, trying to calculate it, deduct it, figure it out. I know, which means what I send out rides those waters of noon or those waves and able to interconnect with any of this information that all exists. So what they're describing now is how our divine mind works, the first computer that they're modeling all this shit up on. Now, mind you, every single wave of thought we send out is actually a parallel universe. We heard that before. But what most would think is that there's a panic living out 10 different lives, like the TV show Slider. Not true. What it is it's all data like your computer. Your computer could do 1,000 things, but you're 9 times out of 10 doing 1 or 2 things at a time. Where's all the other stuff? Where's all your other files? They exist as zeros and ones or data. Those waves are the data. What you're observing in this reality is what you pull down from the many different forms of data that you created in your visualization or in your imagination that it does exist. You can close your eyes right now and see yourself as a billionaire smoking a cigar, even though you may have never smoked a cigar. But let's even make it something simpler. Smoking a cigar. Let's say you never smoked a cigar. You can see detail of yourself smoking a cigar. You never physically did it. But let's say you keep seeing yourself. Damn, I keep seeing and it feels like I could taste it, or I wonder, then you finally say, fuck it, I'm going to get a cigar. Well, what just happened? You are actually honing in on that and making that something you now observe, when it was something that was in wave form because it only existed in your mind. And then when it came to the forefront of your mind, consciousness, it's starting to, you're turning into particles, which means it's now here. If you do it or not, you still have the choice, but it's here. When it was something, let's say, you never even thought you would ever think about. You get what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Smoking a hookah. Or let's say, it's something you really never thought about. You ever see a motherfucker smoke a cigarette in a cigarette holder? You never thought about doing that shit. You know what I'm saying? But let's say that shit just keep coming on your mind. What happened? Before, when you never thought about it, even though you have observed it from time to time, because remember, it's just turning the particles away. You've seen it on TV, or that's some weird shit. Fuck is Clark Cable doing, or whatever the fuck. And then you didn't look at it. But let's say you keep thinking about that, then all of a sudden you say, fuck it, I gotta give me a fucking cigarette holder, man. This shit is balling right now. And all of a sudden it's there. That process, which seems like nothing easy and we do all the time, that's another thing we need to understand. We do this shit all the time, so we no longer think any of that shit is magical. You know what I'm saying? If you want to look at it from this perspective, pregnancy could be looked as magical, but we see it all the time, so it ain't, it's just regular shit. You know what I'm saying? Orgasms are magical, but it's just regular shit if you busting nuts every day. If you ain't getting no pussy, though, it may be an issue. But the idea I'm saying is that what magic and all this shit is, it is your mind. It is your mind. And since you're the owner of that mind, in everything that has been described to you about magic is pretty much white people's interpretation of someone who doesn't have the same divinity in their mind, or that they can't go to the same levels. They're a copy of you. So they can't go to the same levels of you. So their description of it is someone who's sitting on the outside, that most black people have adopted that description as well. But what is natural to you, your natural way of moving, is what all this shit is about. And we have been trained in public school to look for something so dramatical, but it's really your natural thought that is magic. We are just no longer can get our subconscious mind to, or program, let me say, because I don't want to say words like belief, even though we're used to saying that, but so I would usually say get your subconscious mind to believe, which is what you're doing. But ultimately, let's keep it scientific. We don't no longer know how to program our quantum computer, called a subconscious mind, into the reality that we want to manifest into this material or particle world anymore. Now, I definitely could say I'm telling you from experience, I have every single thing I want. Every single thing. Every single thing that was ever in my mind exists. My house is bigger than, y'all niggas could move your entire house in my basement. Half of it in New York. That's real shit. That's not even an exaggeration. 6 bedrooms, 4 bathrooms, and like 3 or 4 just hanging out rooms. We have in our master bedroom, there's a whole other room. Every goddamn deity, every goddamn altars in every room, spirit rooms, Hindu rooms, Olmec rooms, fairy altars, Zen altars, African altars, of course the Kemetic altars. I mean, shit goes on and on and on. The finest chick I ever thought I would have, a room full of goddamn Nikes, which is every nigga's dream. You know what I'm saying? don't work for nobody, and just chill, get up, do whatever I want. There's never a time that I'm lacking. And really, that's the best in a material existence. Because my real greatest victory is anything I want to study is at my fingertips. There's nothing that I hit that I'm at a loss from. And that's real prosperity. You get what I'm saying? The ability to be able to get your mind and put your mind where you need it, and to be able to absorb and understand, and always have the humility to want to learn and understand. Always have the humility to be the student and keep grounded when 1,000 black people at this point have told me how wonderful I am and how much I've saved their lives, to be able to stay humble and understand I'm the one receiving the gift, not them. I'm the one getting, because just as much as I felt I've taught and taught someone, I've learned at the same time. So just the ability to keep grounded in this shit is motherfucking the greatest magic trick in the world, because niggas in YouTube will have you believing you are you came from Saturn, and you are here to save every nigga who just could not figure it out. So, all of these things, as I add up, I recognize it's basically programming. We're calling it magic, yeah, and you can, but obviously I did this magic, did that. It sounds a certain way, but let's keep it down. No, I just program myself with whatever reality I want. You learn through repetition, you learn through symbols, and you learn through trauma. So I'm not going to use trauma. We not, I ain't going to cut the tip of my dick off talking about now I'm a man. That's Africa, and that's what it was. I don't need initiations, because I know the initiation is nothing more than trying to traumatize the psyche into accepting a new reality. No, now before you weren't a priest of Ogun, and now you are, because you ate all the sand and did all the cartwheels, and you didn't fart for a month. Excellent, you're in. But that is for those of that mindset. My mind is a little bit stronger and understand what's supposed to happen. So there's other means for programming that reality, magnetizing those energies, which is what they are. They're not people in the sky. We give them personalities so we can have a way to communicate and know the energy. But at the end, they're energy. And nothing is sitting around waiting for you to get initiated for you to say, oh, you're okay now. It's your mind with energy. It's like initiating your son into using the microwave. If he's stupid and he puts a fork in there, I don't care what you call an initiation. He's just stupid and he don't get it, and that's his level. And maybe he feels he needs a training or extra training to be able to use a microwave. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. No. You just tell me don't put no metal in there and I'm good. That's the level I go at. You know what I'm saying? And I'm sure, and I think we are more on that level and need to give ourselves more credit that we can use a microwave as well. You know what I'm saying? It's not that hard. As you talked about earlier, that we were in that fall, a part of that fall is Later Day Africa, which we raised up on a pedestal as the shit. You get what I'm saying? But we were actually greater than that as scientists. And when we lost more and more of that science, it became down to one shaman who dished out all the tasks and told people what to do because they were losing that first-hand experience. So that's what we talk about. So who was the shaman? You know what I'm saying? Who was the shaman? The shaman was just the guy who can retain and was the most consciousness and underwent a training in a Later Day Africa that still held and retained the old thing. Now, I'm sure some initiations were training. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to just show you how to do this and that and the other. And okay, cool. And that's what's happening. Hey, that's great. This is about your mindset. This is not a uniform way to be. You get what I'm saying? If you need an initiation, then by all means, you need to do it. I'm not here to convince anybody of nothing else. Only let you know this is not the only way. That's a religious mentality that we're still holding on to, that same motif, that same pattern that someone needs to certify you, anoint you. Someone somewhere is better than you. He has the same mind and you have actions based upon what we just talked about with the quantum understanding, the same understanding and the same access as the next man. I've never seen myself as better than anybody who walks the earth with me who looks like me. You know what I'm saying? Never. For the sheer fact that I couldn't even sit around and tell you what I'm telling you if I didn't, in my heart, understand and know that you're the same thing. Otherwise, why would it be fucking worth it? I would just tell you to do as I say. You know what I'm saying? You know, my morals don't go that way. My morals only dictate I deal with truth and reality. So this is truth and reality. If the truth and reality was some are better than the others, shit. You know what I'm saying? I be having niggas carry me around, you know what I'm saying? Carry me, if that's what was real. But that's not real. You know what I'm saying? That's not real. That's a fantasy, and, you know what I'm saying? And, we have been totally Holocaustized. You know what I'm saying? And truthfully, our people will kind of accept anybody who merges. Listen, MySpace, which you was around too, people just put spooky shit on their MySpace page like I did. And I really thought I had it popping. But you see spooky shit, and I remember email after email. For no other reason did anyone know my qualification other than my MySpace page, and there's some goddamn skulls and shit on there. And could you initiate me? How much do you want to initiate? Back to back. So then most guys who I seen them who was just copying Bobby anyway, and Bobby acknowledged that, not just me saying that. I was actually giving these lecturers the benefit of the doubt, and this was before all the internet. But, the whole thing was get on this magic, do this magic. It's all about this magic, baby. Magic or die, nigga. Magic, magic, magic. And then I started noticing, oh, wait a minute, careful with that magic. If you're not initiated by a professional, such as myself. And I started to realize, because everybody's probably in that person's inbox, like they were in mine, saying how much they want to get initiated and how much they're willing to pay. Because prior to this entire network really coming together, that's what everyone thought. They hadn't heard of Bobby Hemmitt saying, just open a book and study and do whatever, and all the things Bobby said. They hadn't heard that, so every rumor was initiate or die. That was the prior understanding. So when all these people finally started being able to talk to somebody else outside of their circle, it was like, oh shit, you got that shit on your page. I've been looking for you all my life. Can you initiate me so I could get it on? I'm like, man, you ain't got to do that bullshit. Who said that? Where you getting that from? Coming from already hearing Bobby, for years. I'm like, where did you get that one from? And not even just Bobby. Bobby saying it and then me just studying it. There's nothing in occult science that says initiation. This is an African system that we're used to. And if you just getting out of banging the tambourine on church on Sunday, that shit looks mighty good on the other side, unless you understand there's more. And all this shit is not just that. We are a worldwide entity. You know what I'm saying? I wouldn't even let them regulate us down to a continent. This cosmos is yours. Everything in it, on it, or around it is yours. I wouldn't even let them make me something so small, big in the context of this globe, but small in the context of this cosmos, which is what you are. You are a cosmic entity. You are forever. You are unbreakable. You get what I'm saying? Your humanity, broken minutes, nigga. You know what I'm saying? All I got to do is pull out a whip. Ooh, I got it. I'll pick that up, sir. No need to get hostile. I think I'll break you in a minute. You know what I'm saying? With the humanity. But what you are is what you're supposed to be cultivating and realizing. This body is going to die. You don't build a castle on mud. You know what I'm saying? This is not a foundation. This is not a foundation. This is something that you pass through. and you pass through to get what you need. And you're going to stay here if you don't get what you need. And we're off our game. We're off our path. You know what I'm saying? It's good to see so many people coming back on their game. It's slow going, but at least it's happening. And it's really about knowledge. It's really about realization. It's really about trying to constantly find an aha moment. There's nothing to be perfected down here but the self. You know what I'm saying? There's no material that will ever be perfected down here. The nature of this place is it must die. None of these sneakers, none of this house I live in is forever. The only thing that's forever dwells a thing. And yet there, the smartest thing you could do is cultivate that forever. Because all you're doing is expanding your kingdom when you do things like this. And your kingdom is light. You're here to receive more light through this particular equation called planet Earth. An equation that we set up. No one put you here. Ain't no creator put you here. Ain't no such thing as karma. In fact, that's what the laws of Ma'at is. If you feel that you have done something, that this is real, then your heart will be heavier than a feather. But if you know your soul is innocent and has done nothing, you can stand there and say, I have not stolen. I have not lied. I have not raped many goats, or whatever the fuck it is. You can say all of those things, and your heart will truly be light as a feather once you understand Panic has done all of those things. But my soul is innocent. Therefore, I have no karma. I have no debt. I've never been here to do anything to have what we call karma. Heart light as a feather, and you move on. But if you're saying, I never started that record company, black people never overcame, we never really defeated that old impenetrable white man, and all of those things that we complain about all the fucking time, is your heart, my nigga, is heavier than a feather. That's what that means. You thought you was going to stand there, they were going to really take your heart out and measure it? What weighs on your heart? They tell you your worries weigh on your heart. Don't they say that to you now? Why is your heart so heavy, brother? What weighs on your heart? It's not like, well, I got a brick, I just swallowed the brick. No, he's saying it's your worries. And niggas got the most worries for some old legendary gods that started it, got the most worries. That could be fucking fathomed in one goddamn Facebook sitting. You turn that shit on, oh God, it's the most depressing shit ever. Depressing.
Right. Yeah.
And that's because you have been fooled. The only thing the white man is doing to you, he managed to distract you from your path or the idea of what the path it is you're supposed to be walking. We're not even trying to fake walk or terribly walk spirituality. We're trying to still cultivate humanity, even though each one of you niggas going to die. My stepson, Khadijah's son, he was real young when I got here. He's about 22 now. That nigga, if you talk to him, you would think he lives in Bel Air. I created such a illusionary world for this unrealistic ass nigga. You would be amazed. And that's really our trick. I reprogrammed him with no worries that you constantly give your children to inherit. Problems they have no idea about until you make it so for them. Until you tell them how mighty this old white man is and what he has done. They don't see, and listen closely. This is not to say they ain't doing what they doing. This is not to say none of the things you niggas say is true. But y'all need to understand about programming reality. True ain't got nothing to do with it. It's how that individual sees reality that makes it so. If you don't believe me, turn on the Republican convention and listen to the magic that they're doing. Do you understand they understand magic? So when Sarah Palin says she could see Russia outside of her window in Alaska, You laughing at her, as long as she convinces her subconscious mind it's true. Doesn't matter if it's real. Doesn't matter what's true to you. It's how you move and operate. What was true to Malcolm X is how he moved and operate, even though other niggas is walking around baffled, getting hit by fire hoses, saying, "What? Do you understand? Look, I grow coffee, and I live in a whole town that loves coffee, but niggas said they won't serve us coffee at Woolworths, so I'm on my way down there to get a cup." That's mind control. That's what programming is. It is the black man who owns something, sits in front of it, has a community who needs them, and will turn away and says, because what they got is green on the other side. Knowing that they did that shit as a whole campaign because you niggas were surpassing them, and they don't understand how they're slaves. Actually, the ones you know understood. See, they created a rich and a poor white. You know the quickest way for something to fail is when you ignore it. You know that from school. You know, I forgot even all about this shit. When you forget about something, it's going out your reality. It'd be going all the way out your reality. I knew I had to do some shit. We have systematically learned how to start ignoring them. And I know it sounds like you're sticking your head in the sand, the white man doing that, but you going to do, black man. All that's ego bullshit to get you feeling like you ain't doing shit. They do everything so you don't ignore them. We don't even realize that. Every time your attention may perhaps go on yourself, they're going to give you a Trayvon Martin. They're going to show you Donald Trump grabbing pussy. All that shit is by design. And all of this is to stop you from self-realization because everything you need dwells within. And you don't have the time to shut down your conscious mind. It's constantly chattering with what you think, what's happening on the news, Facebook, YouTube, Love and Hip Hop, Trump, and all the rest of that crap. They're always doing something to keep you occupied. The moment you're quiet is the moment yourself starts to explain everything you need in whatever moment you're in. Every single dream you have at night is your subconscious mind speaking in its language, which is symbols to you, trying to answer anything you have asked, whether you know it or not. Every question you ask is being answered every night in a dream. We just do not realize it. Everything you do magically, absolutely, positively works. For no other reason, cause and effect. For every cause, there's an effect. For every effect, there's a cause, which means every candle you light, every crystal you hold, every libation you pour, every altar you set up, every fart you make is a cause. So therefore, it must have an effect. Must. And if it must have an effect, all magic works. Your understanding of the effect is the problem. Because we no longer know how to, in November 19th, I'm going to go into this detail. Because you're not going to get it for free tonight, ladies and gentlemen. You're going to have to come out and support. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Support the brothers. It is more than, it's a win-win for everybody. Brother Rich wins. Brother Panic wins. We both got bills to pay. And you guys win because the slough of information you're going to get that's life-changing, that can serve you to better your reality is what I always bring and will promise to bring you yet again on the 19th. Reality-changing information. Not shit that makes you feel good. Not shit that makes you feel another one for the team and then you're going to need another hit. I will give you shit to go home and do. You get what I'm saying? Shit to go home and do. And the only thing that can stop you is laziness. So you're going to have to come on down to get the real deal Holyfield. You understand? And I promise you it's going to be one of those things. Like Rick said, I ain't been in New York for 10 years. That is a license to show my nuts. If I walk in with my nuts out, I don't want to hear shit from nobody. Because it is that serious. That serious. So, Rich, like I said, I It just didn't dawn on me until Rich said it. 10 years. So I'm gonna come like it's a long time overdue. A lot of old heads talking about they coming. A lot of people talking about traveling. It's gonna be off extravaganza. So you niggas need to show up, enjoy yourself. Rich always puts on a good one in New York. So there's gonna be vendors. Will there be food, Rich?
Yeah, there'll be food, drinks, everything.
Food, drinks, vendors. It's gonna be great. It's gonna be a thing. I don't stop. If we could stay there longer than our time, shit, that's what's gonna happen. I love to let niggas call out. You know what I'm saying? Love niggas gonna have to carry you niggas out. That's my shit. I don't want to stop. So they gonna have to stop me. Ain't no okay, y'all. It's nice to come. They gonna have to stop me. Some of y'all niggas gonna have to leave because they got planes to catch to get back home. That's how serious it's gonna be. And you know what I'm saying? We're gonna get on into a lot of ways your mind works versus your humanity works. That's what Rich wanted to talk about. Brother Rich wanted to talk about what the soul is in the human body. And this is a lot of our conflict. This is where our good nature shines through, but it's conflicted in this reality. It's so much where it's an internal change that needs to happen, person to person, and then we will all emerge unified. So the magician, the occultist, and like I said, we don't want to know these names. We can still call it metaphysician, is actually about realization, self-realization, not trying to get the world to realize something that's on your fucking mind. You get what I'm saying? You can share. Some on the frequency will get it. Some will not. And if they don't, so be it. You ain't got to convince. People they're supposed to have differences. Otherwise, this would be worthless.
Indeed. I want to end it there, Panic. I don't want to, give out too much.
Give it too much. Yeah. We're gonna keep them coming. I'm gonna talk about a whole different thing, though. Along with some of this stuff, I'm gonna expand on a whole different thing based upon some of the things Brother Rich wanted me to cover. So you got a lot more coming your way. You understand? So it's gonna be a thing on the 19th.
For more information, you can contact me, 646-472-4219. Live streaming info should be available by November 1st. And if you want advance tickets, you could go to www.blackmagic363.eventbrite.com for more info. Brother Panic, I want to thank you for coming on the show once again.
Yes, sir.
I look forward to...
I'm just sorry. One thing, Rich, before we go, I just want to give everybody my website, www.occultlectures.com. You can get any of my products. You can get books, find out classes, everything you need to know. Contact me, occultlectures.com. Thank you, Rich.
And on that note, we signing out, family. We're going to see most of y'all November 19th. We out of here. Peace.
Peace.
Came from the Nile Valley. It's bittersweet, I smile sadly. Truth rarely seen like child's daddies. I'm Imhotep, I style flashy. Regarded highly, I'm Selassie. As time is passing, tribes are clashing. I know the ledge, I grow my dreads. My queen's two open legs have golden eggs, I'm hatched. 9 months had to hold my breath. Now I dream so heavy that I broke the bed. Provoke the feds that slaughter the sons. 12 get the 4-5 like a quarter to 1. The war has begun. Latin for sun, the soul and melanites get more of the sun. We the fortunate one. Got the God in the womb and the Lord in my come, and no more means love. Death is the source that I'm from. Everything that they do, we have already done. Self-taught, my ice a melt salt. Mine high price, I write and sell thought. I felt cloth. I cannot in cotton shopping, aquaponic, chronic options. Badanaz and pot concoction. Earth a thought, her twat is rotten. Knowledge of my art forgotten. Watch the conscious sovereign doctrine. Not dishonest prophet goblins. Boxing out the box, I'm boxed in. Black magic, black yoni, black phallus. How they turn kings and queens to crack addicts. How they make us lose our sight like bad glasses. They know we invented original mathematics. Black magic, treat home like at Sabbath. I can hear beautiful music and bad static. I attract cash in bags like that's Magnus. Last Maverick, blast fast like Zab Jab. Black magic, black yoni, black